what's the FDA's view? I know in terms of special patient populations in, you mentioned pediatrics, because in this case, it's not a disease that's generally prevalent in the pediatrics, but we hear a lot about the need to, more broadly test our drug in special populations and, and in pediatrics, and I wonder how that fits into the whole.
There are certain mandates that you have to go and at least evaluate the product in. With rare exceptions, you have to study it in both males and females. You have to study it in pediatrics is a targeted population, geriatrics is a targeted population. So you have to either provide when you submit a new drug application, either a reason why you didn't study it in there or have studied it in that population. But those are really the only targeted groups at the present time that you have to make an attempt to evaluate it.
Any other thoughts on kind of subpopulations, the value? And the
well, I think the question of subpopulation has got to be driven by the reality of the disease. When I was in medical school, there was only essential hypertension or a renal artery stenosis is the cause of high blood pressure. It essentially meant we didn't know what the 99% of the other causes were. And if you look at, say, glaucoma today, where you have open angle, inflow, outflow, we know more about it. It is conceivable the next generation of glaucoma drops will be not broad spectrum. If you go back and you look at the history of antibiotics, penicillin, the first product, everything was, it wasn't gram-positive, gram-negative, or specific bacteria. And I think it's a natural course of understanding a disease that the therapy gets narrowed and the subgroups get narrowed as we expect them to. And the question with the dry eye is, are we there yet? And the answer is, perhaps we are. I don't think that a drug that's going to increase aqueous production is going to be that beneficial if your problem is an epithelial surface problem or a mucogenic problem. I think we also see that the eye's incredible ability has a number of layers of backup. Keith was talking about increased blinking. If you looked at some of the neural innervation of the goblet cells that Darlene was talking about, your aqueous goes down a bit, your mucin increases. I think those of you who practice have often seen, you flip the upper lid, you see a little glob of mucin, and you see scratches on the cornea, you move the mucin, you find the foreign body under it. The body was trying to cover it up. It is a secondary reaction. So when you have the multitudes of barriers to preventing ocular surface irritation, multiple potential diseases, I think the opportunity for a drug to be focused on a subgroup that is highly effective gives the best likelihood of success. Otherwise, you have a group of non-responders in there, and if you just do the math, there's no way you're going to get a signal noise out of it. So I think that to a certain extent, it's one may have to address the subgrouping, and I think to that point, is that a reasonable approach from the regulatory perspective to come to you with, look, this is a mucogenic, it works on people, surprise, who have goblet cell problems. And it actually doesn't work on lacrimal gland inflammation.
Yes, you should be proposing that the product works in the population that it's been shown to work in. And that may be a subgroup.